Getting rid of sentimental clutter around your home, it can be difficult, especially when those items are filled with wonderful memories. But breaking free from sentimental clutter, it can be rewarding. So joining us with tips is clinical psychologist Dr. Tim Hope to share ways that we can get rid of that clutter. Dr. Hope, nice to have you here.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This is the time where people want to empty out their house, get rid of that clutter, especially because they brought some new stuff in.
Organizing.
But it can be so hard to let go. So you have some steps that will offer people some help when they're starting to declutter their home. Step one is just to box it up.
Sure. So the first thing that you can do is to try and address that stuff in the first place. If you see that stuff is obviously junk or trash, go ahead and trash it. But if you're not quite ready to deal with the other things and sorting them and deciding what you want to keep and what you want to organize, put it into a box, label it with a question mark, or label it with other things that help you to know what's inside of that. Put it in a safe, dry place, and then you can address it later on at your leisure.
Yes, I think there is kind of that time where you're going through things and you pick up something and you say, I don't know what to do with this. I'm not ready to let go. So if you do need help, enlist help if you need it.
Right, so this is where you have to know thyself, right? So you know, well, geez, this is a really difficult task for me. I need someone to sort of hold my hand through this. Just be there with me. So you look for that warm, fuzzy friend of yours. If, on the other hand, you need that person who can be like the drill sergeant who's going to crack the whip, then find that friend and ask them to help you come in there, and then you won't be keeping your nose in the diary. You'll be moving along, moving through those items, sorting those items, organizing them more quickly.
Yeah, you may need someone to yell at you.
That's right.
Let's keep it moving. Also, you don't have to try to tackle it in one entire day. You can work in shorter intervals.
Yeah, I actually recommend not doing it in one day because the vast majority of us, it's going to be a bigger task than you can really do in one sitting. It's when you're going through sentimental valued items, it's emotionally draining. You're going to be thinking about things, you're going to be remembering things, you're going to be wanting to really be thoughtful about how you place things. And so if you break it up into smaller chunks, say 3 or 4 hours, then you're much more likely to be able to do that in a way that doesn't exhaust you, and you won't have purger's regret afterwards.
Right, and I think a lot of us know that there's been times we've gone through old boxes and we come across something and we sit there and read it or look at it for an hour.
Sure.
So if you try to tackle it all in one day and you really want to take in all those wonderful memories, it's going to be too much.
Right.
And the other thing that I think a lot of people don't necessarily always think about is taking a picture of something, because though you may not be able to hold it, at least you have the memory still.
Yeah, pictures are fantastic. We have great resources for storage of digital media. Whether you want to do it in a cloud-based service or if you want to do it in a physical drive, hard drives are really inexpensive this day. You can get a terabyte or more than that for very, very little money. And so being able to take pictures, as many pictures as you want, you can store them, you can organize them, and they are safe forever. They're not going to get lost, they're not going to get destroyed.
And those don't take up as much room as all that clutter in your house.
Not nearly the room.
So you won't have bins and bins of, even if it's artwork that you had as a kid, take a picture of it, you still have it to remember, but you just don't have it filling up your space in your home.
That's right. Kids' artwork is, that's near and dear to my heart. I reminisce about that artwork and when it was from and where it was from, but really taking pictures of that artwork is much, much easier to manage and organize.
Absolutely, and that's what we need, is to make a little more space in our home so that we can feel like we can breathe.
Breathe easy.
Right, exactly. So we're not done with you. We're going to have more tips later on in the show to encourage people to clean up their homes. Thanks so much, Dr. Hope.
Sure.
We're back with Dr. Tim Hope. We're talking about letting go of sentimental clutter because we kind of tend to hang on to those things that have meaning, even though we probably should get rid of it so we make room in our homes. So we left off on step 5, Dr. Hope, and now we're talking about saving the best, toss the rest. Tell us about that.
So the idea is, again, as you're going through and organizing and separating out your boxes of question mark or this is, I want to go through this later on, once you start looking at those individual items, use the things that keep the things that you're really going to use. If you want to display it, if you look at it and you say, oh yeah, that would look great in the corner of the hutch that we have, then go ahead and put it out. But if you really have that question of, geez, I don't know where I'm going to put this, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, it's time to let it go.
Right. Now, but what if then you come to, it's time to let go of it, but it was my great-grandmother's, so I can't. I can't, even though it does not serve me any purpose.
Sure.
Otherwise.
So one idea is then give it to someone else who could use it. Now, again, this is really, if it's something that has some value, that someone can make some use of it, then you can give it to someone that you know, someone who could make some use of it, or you could donate it, and that will help you feel like someone is getting some good use of this. You kept a picture of it, then that's going to really help to live on for you.
Exactly. You have that picture that'll last forever, and then you can let it go to help someone else.
Right.
Now the next tip is to give things a new home, like you said. So that doesn't just mean you have to donate it. You could just give it to a friend. Maybe they could use it, or give it a new home in your house.
Right. Let's say that your kids have grown, they're out of the house, but you have a friend who has some kids. You have some of those toys that you are holding on to because of sentimental value. Well, wouldn't it be great if their kids were using that? And that way you can see someone else getting some joy out of it. You can see it. You can see that it's something that's going to be going to good use.
I think it's hard for parents to let go of their babies' outfits and things that bring back memories, but we already talked about it. Take a picture. You'll never forget it. You'll always have the memory, but you won't have the actual item to take room in your home. The last tip is know your ABCs. I know this is in sales. They talk about always be closing. Now, for us that have a home or need to get rid of stuff, it's always be clearing.
Right. So with the idea of taking little bits of time at a time, this means that every day that you come home, take a few minutes to go through one of those boxes. Take a few minutes to just let a few of those things go. As I'm walking into the house with my mail, I'm sorting it and I'm putting it into the recycling. It doesn't even make it inside the house. So if you can be doing just a little bit at a time each day, it really makes the task much more manageable, and it won't clutter up nearly as much.
Exactly. So every day, just do a little bit. Always be clearing, and that way you won't have to feel like it's this daunting task to declutter your house.
That's right.
And deal with the emotion all at once. So all the 7 steps are on our website. You see them on the screen right now, and you can print those out, have them in your hand for when it's time to declutter your home. Thank you so much for these tips.
You're welcome.
Dr. Hope, nice to have you here. And as always, you can visit us online, mymassappeal.com later today.